is a thriller in the Borough as Warren County defeats Blackman 35-28, a game that literally went down to the wire. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Walker, 92.1 The Ticket, your home for Warren County Pioneer Sports. And welcome to Turner Time, featuring Warren County High School head football coach Matt Turner and Warren County Sports Authority Jeff Simmons.
Coach, exciting win. I mean, Jay said it a couple different times, but he said it came down to the wire. I don't think you wanted it to, and I think there were some chances not to, but who's going to complain at this point? I mean, 5-0, you've beaten Blackman for the first time ever.
Yep, I could sit there and listen to his intro over and over and over. But, I knew it was going to be a dogfight. The way the guys came out, and we was one score away from putting them under mercy. Of course, it came down to a wire just because my 35 kids ran out of gas. But, yeah, it's very exciting, and we've got a saying, hold the rope, let it burn, but don't let go, and we had to hold that rope and was just hanging on there at the end.
I mean, to the very, very
end. Yeah, literally to the end.
Yeah.
Clay Thompson goes off with an injury, and hey, buddy, you better wrap it up and get back on the field. So we're not finished. So
they get the onside kick. I mean, we're going to get to all that, everything. But, I mean, that very last pass, he goes up in the air, and I'm standing at the 10-yard line, look at it, and the first thing I say is, oh, that's going out of bounds, but it didn't.
Nope, dropped right in there. That quarterback put it on money.
Dante had perfect coverage, was there to break it up, and then the party started.
Yep.
It's a thrilling win as you could ever ask for. I know you've had a couple of them already in your short tenure here at Warren County, but good gracious, I mean this one's going to be one that everybody remembers for years.
Yeah, I mean definitely it goes in the top of the list for me. Just overcoming. That's the first time I'd stepped into the big inferno, because under that first year Tom Moore, they was here, and then last year we played them here. That will definitely not be forgotten.
Yep.
Coach, when you rush for over 400 yards, that means the offensive line is doing its job. Let's look at some clips here.
All right, them Hogs better be working.
I mean, every single time that you seemed like you were we talked about this, Coach. I mean, one thing that you flipped even before this game even started is guard center. About the decision to move Douglas in to center, Braden Bottoms out to guard.
Well, Doug actually, he pulled a hammy there. Probably might have been before this even started.
It was right before the DeKalb County game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Of course we put him at guard because our guards are some of the most athletic linemen that we have because of all the pulling and different things we did there, but anybody's had a hamstring injury knows it just keeps nagging. So our centers mostly we see a lot of head-up noses, so felt like it was a good even swap there. Of course, Bottoms being a kind of a first-year varsity lineman has done a great job at center, but he's 100% healthy, is able to get out there and pull and got good speed. So, we made that decision to kind of, put our players in the best position to win. Of course, Doug right there gets just rolled up, but, Doug's blocking right there. Don't have to worry about running and cutting and making cuts on that hamstring. Bottoms came in, did a good job. Brian McNulty stepped in big because Aiden Cummins, we moved him to tackle last week. And then at the Lawrence County game, towards there, third or fourth quarter, he kind of went down with a turn on that ankle. So he didn't even play this game. So I'm anxious to see, and I think Brian McNulty's can hold his own right there at that tackle position. And so it's exciting to see where we're going to insert Cummins back in.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. In this game, you have 403 yards of offense. You have 403 yards of rushing.
Mm-hmm. And
I know everybody's going to come out of this game, and, myself included, everybody's going to want to talk about CJ.
All right.
But CJ doesn't get 309 yards rushing without good blocking. I mean, we see it right here. He's running through huge holes.
Yeah,
y'all. I mean, and this is different kind of schemes that y'all even put in for this week to make sure that you could get CJ into the open field.
Yeah, with this pistol wing tee that we've been running, CJ literally has not really got any called plays for the quarterback to do the runs that he does. Now, a lot of our plays have reads, and if our tailbacks and stuff are doing their job, they're getting tackled. CJ has the ability to pull the ball and run it, and that happens a lot. But this week we actually, kind of did some full backfield, some old school stuff where we was just wanting to down block, kick out, and let CJ run.
Right, so here's one example here that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And he comes around that corner, and there
boom,
he is.
right there's that hole, and CJ's got the speed and the quickness to get around. Case and Holder today in the office in treatment and stuff said, "Coach, I feel like I'm an offensive lineman." And and to his credit, that a lot of that bib blocking, and we call it bib blocking, backer inside. That's who he's got. He was just an extension of that offensive line. So.
It's great. It's a great play by the line, a great night for them to assert their will. I know after the game and even during the game at some points, I heard some of your seniors come over there and say, "Guys, we can push them around."
Yeah.
And then do you make that statement 2 years ago? Do you make that statement 3 years ago? In the last 40 years, when did Warren County say we could go to Murfreesboro and push people around? But they knew that they could, and they showed that they could for 4 quarters.
Yeah, it's a awesome opportunity as a head coach, and of course I'm an offensive line coach as well. I go down there with Coach Slatton and work with those linemen, and when those guys come off and say, "Coach, just keep it on the ground because we can block them," and I think that's really what that shock factor was in Blackman. We hit them in the mouth, hit them hard. They hadn't been hit like that, because all this new football is a lot of finesse, real pretty stuff, zone and pass blocking, and of course we come out with some old smash mouth. Here we go, right at you. But yeah, the guys up front in the hogs and trenches, and even for in-house, Braylon Grayson got the offensive MVP just because of we've been challenging his blocking. And if you watch these highlights, you'll see Grayson out there just blocking like a war child, possessed man.
Coach, your first drive started at the 2-yard line.
That's it.
Second drive started at about the 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And both drives ended in the end zone.
That's right.
That had to give you a ton of confidence.
Yeah, especially on that first drive, and I remember, because Coach actually got me, or he didn't get me. He pulled the quick kick card out before I did, and we actually installed the quick kick, and we've got it in our arsenal. But and knew as a field advantage thing, and obviously it was a great field. Flipped the field on us, made a start at the 2-yard line. But I remember hearing the coaching staff and down the sidelines like, well, this is going to be a good 98-yard drive. So, and that's the confidence that these guys, when they step on the field, let's ride.
Yep,
so.
That's the second play right there, and then all of a sudden you're off to the races.
Yep.
Let's talk about the defense.
Yeah.
They went up against a pretty potent offense at Blackman and really had them on the ropes for 3 quarters at least.
Oh, had them on the ropes the whole game. And, of course, obviously, came out big and did their job and made the stop. And it was right there, if people was at the game or seen the game, it was 35 to
28. 35-28.
No, before that, before the rally.
35-7.
35-7. We're one score away from putting those guys Blackman in the mercy rule. Who would ever thought that? And of course we started running out of fuel, because those kids was giving everything they had, and that's our motto: is go as hard as you can, as long as you can. And we was running out of fuel, and we was running on fumes there at the end. And like I said, Coach Bond made some great adjustments. We had some good guys. Our weak corner, because of Ben Rivers, where he's been out, it's kind of been a weak spot, and we've had some young guys we've had to step up. Nate Elrod came in, did good, but at the same time, a sophomore is not ready to play that caliber of athlete that's at Blackman. Mm-hmm. Those kids, I was telling them in the coaching meeting today, those kids are going to be playing on Saturdays at different levels of college.
All over the Southeast. Right now what we're watching, the first play we watched was stopping them on their first drive on 4th down by literally inches after.
Right.
Actually, it's their second drive after you're taking a 7-0 lead. Another 4th down stop, and then pass breakups. The things that y'all needed to do late, and then you get the stop when you needed it the most right here. Good pressure to make him have to move around a little bit more, and then Dante Elam being in the right spot at right time.
Yep.
Good coverage in the end zone tight, and making a play up top on that ball. That's great. Just the things that this defense had to go through, and you said it. It's not just that they were exhausted, and they were.
Right.
They were exhausted by the 4th quarter. There's no doubt about it. But having to play through the fact that like you said, Ben Rivers was out. You had your second corner had to switch in. You were trying to rotate it in for that. By the end of the fourth quarter, you actually had rotated down Klay Thompson to that corner spot. He comes out with cramps.
Yep.
I mean, you were just you were trying to put. It's just a war of attrition to get through that fourth quarter. But they did the things. And to me, it was the things you did in the first and the second quarter to give you the cushion. It's the stops on fourth down early to make sure that you had that chance, because they score right here on this first fourth down.
We're in a different ballgame.
This is a shootout instead of a for 3 quarters of Pioneer domination.
Right. And that's what we talked about. We're going to talk about it in the team meeting and stuff like that. That you guys, they came out and they pounded on them and made them got the offense off the field. I don't know what our time of possession was on offense. I know it was
33 to 15.
33 minutes versus their 15, and I've always said that's why I want my 11 best on that defense. And Coach Bond, like I said, he made some changes there right before that do or die scenario at the end, and asked Klay to go over to a corner, and Klay's been playing free all year. And I think, what was it, CJ went back to free. And so we had Case and another young man and I think we're going to see a lot more of him, is Joseph Lanier, number 9, comes in, and he has a good pass breakup. And Joseph Lanier can play that position very, very well, and rightfully so. Case and Holder's just been able to play a little bit better. That's the only reason Joseph Lanier's been on the sideline. But I feel like we are more athletically at a higher level with that last secondary that we finished with. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some more of that.
Can't say enough about Dante Elam in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Had some great pass breakups.
Yep. He did, and of course he was out there, Dante's biggest issue is he's so hard on himself. He did miss one tackle after he felt like the kid got a little hitch and got out of bounds, got the clock stopped like that, and Dante was kind of beating himself up about that. Dante played huge.
Special teams also came through for you.
Yeah, Tony got his mojo back. He's been working on it. He kind of had a hiccup there a couple weeks ago, or past couple weeks, but I told you guys, he came to the office, said, "Coach, I found out what it was." And and as far as kicking, it's so much mechanically driven, and he found out that there was one part that he just was off on, and he corrected that. And of course he was, and he placed the ball so well for us on kickoff. Obviously we've got to do some work on our return team. But yeah, Tony had a big game. I mean, obviously he's our special teams player of the game in the house.
I mean, he's 5 for 5 on PATs. I mean, he got out of any of those misses. But I mean, those are important points. And if they're going down there at the end of that game and you've not made any extra points, they're going for a field goal. They're not going for the heave.
Right.
And then I think you said it. You had some short kickoffs this week. I know some people may question the onside kick at one point with the 21-0 lead, but at some point you're playing against teams that have great athletes in the back, and you have to give them different looks over and over again. I mean, some of those you kicked them short, had a pretty good coverage on this one. There was other times where you felt like they were creeping in, and then Tony kicks them back deep. I mean, I think that the game plan's there. I mean, of course, like you said, you need to make sure that you're not giving up any long long returns like you have in the past. But there's some things that y'all are doing pretty well, and then when you get to get those kickoffs, it's nice to see an athlete like Klay Thompson putting the ball in his hands and being able to do some things.
Right, and that's what I told Klay, this week, because I feel like from here on out, the teams that we face have legit kickers. I know Siegel's got a kicker that I have witnessed him kick it out of the back of the end zone. So I'm anxious to see, because a lot of the teams that we've played prior to this hasn't had a kicker that's had the leg to get it out there. Right. And of course, you got Xander right here that's got a foot on him when he uses it correctly. That it's a thing of beauty.
Yep. I mean, the thing about it is too that y'all had on 2 different punts that Xander had great coverage. One, and then they had penalties trying to keep y'all off of that. And I think that's one thing that you've stressed a lot too, is those gunners, those guys that had to get down there. If you're making effort plays and you're getting out in front of people, they're going to end up holding you. They're going to get a block in the back, and then all of a sudden you get spot foul plus. And
nice.
when Xander's kicking at 40 yards and you back them back 10 more, do you want to punt? I mean, the best thing would be never have to send the punt team on there.
Right.
But when you do, you have to know that it's reliable enough to get your field position flipped. And y'all did that a couple of times against Blackman. It was huge.
Yep.
All right, let's look at stats from the other night.
All right.
Rushing, CJ 33 carries, 309 yards, 5 touchdowns against Blackman. Braylon Grayson, 3 carries, 52 yards. Ryland, 8 carries, 31. Bryson Elrod, 6 carries for 10. Kaysen, 2 carries for 4 yards. That's pretty impressive.
It's not bad. Kaysen Holder's going to be upset about that because I think we need to recheck that one because that one he should have gotten in the end zone was a little bit further than 4 yards unless he had a lot of loss there. But
yeah,
that's for you, Kaysen, just to let you know.
maybe got the holders confused on some
yeah,
of those
I think
stats,
so, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, but I want to go back to maybe even the Braylon Grayson, stat line. One, you get a perfect bounce. But Braylon busts a 42-yard
we ain't got to bring
run.
that up.
But it was a perfect bounce, but it was a perfect play call too. I mean, it was seized the control. You come out in the second half. You know that they're gunning for CJ, and you catch them in a good counter.
Right.
Braylon comes through 42 yards. Like you said, do you really want to talk about the fact that he dribbled it off that nice turf up there? No, but he did. It didn't matter. He gets out there in the open, and it was just a perfectly timed call because that was one thing that Blackman had to start understanding again. Is like, hey, we can't.
Yeah, there's some other guys out here that can go.
There's some other guys that come through there, and I think that's something that we've seen over and over again this year. As much as we do focus on CJ, and when CJ puts up 309 yards and 5 touchdowns,
right?
You're going to focus on him. But he gets to do that because the offensive line's doing its job, and those other guys are always showing on the film every single week. If you don't pay attention to CJ, he will give it, and they will hurt you.
Defensively, Braylon Grayson, 10 tackles. Ryland Holder, 6 tackles.
A tackle for loss.
Dante, 4 tackles, 2 pass breakups. Bryson Elrod, 2 tackles and a sack, and Clay Thompson with an interception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the defense. I mean, we start talking about, and this is the thing. You said it earlier. 35 guys go to Blackman to get this done. So you're going to see the same names on both sides, but they were there. They were doing their jobs. I mean, we've talked about this earlier in the year. Athletically, when you put Braylon Grayson and Ryland Holder in at those linebacker positions, you can do a lot of different things because those two guys see ball, find ball, and they hit people when they get there. And then that interception that Clay had was a huge play, and he made the right read. He was back there. It seemed like he almost baited the quarterback into throwing that.
I'm sure he did.
And those are plays that you can only see guys that have a senior back there. He's seen it, everything, knows what to do. I mean, it shows that Clay Thompson's been playing in the secondary since he was a freshman, and he does those things. But these guys that you're all doing, and then of course like Bryson Elrod coming up with a sack, it's just amazing the kind of effort that you're getting from those defensive players week in, week out to make big plays.
Yeah, and I'll go back because I want to make sure that Clay Thompson obviously was not there all last season. So there's 1 year there. So he's technically only played in that secondary 2 years, being his freshman, sophomore year. So that's hats off to Coach Bond and the drills and the stuff that they're doing and getting these guys in the right position.
Time now for the tough question for Turner.
Tough question for a 5-0 football coach who just guided his team to a win over Blackman. This is tough.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to think about. First, we just want to let everybody know if you want to ask a tough question for Turner, make sure that you're emailing it to wcsportsauthority@gmail.com. But Ryan Williams, a Warren County alumni, lives up in the Nashville area, made the drive down to make sure that he could see y'all play in Murfreesboro.
Well, appreciate it.
And he says, he said that it's difficult to come up with a tough question because of the win. The players played well. The coaches seemed like they had a good game plan. But he did ask, Coach, you're up 21-7 with the ball, with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Second down, you have a chance to probably exhaust that clock and make sure that you're up 21-7 going into. Instead, throw a pass, almost have it intercepted, end up having to kick to Blackman at the end of that first half.
What am I thinking?
You didn't throw very much, but when you did, it didn't seem like it was the best time.
No, so, I mean, technically, what would you say, Mr. Ryan Williams here? Appreciate that question. But that would be a question for Mr. Kenny Schultz. I'm going to throw Kenny under the bus on that
Tough question for Schultz.
Yeah, tough question for Schultz. But because – if you notice, I don't have a headset on.
Yeah.
So I was probably asking the exact same question right after that play was called. And I think Coach Schultz will try to throw them in and get them ran in right quick before I get a chance to veto them.
Yeah.
But, I think Coach Schultz would tell you that we was behind the sticks. We needed to try to secure that first down, and he saw an opportunity there. And we hadn't done it. They probably had 12 people in the box. I'd have to look at the play exactly to see.
Like it, yeah.
Of course, Coach Schultz is up in the box, and he sees things a little different. And he believes in our receivers and our quarterback. And, so I know in his mind that he's thinking this is the best opportunity to move the sticks and to get out of this half, because he knows I don't like putting the ball in the air. Definitely don't like putting the ball in the air against the likes of Blackman and those athletes, because I felt like we neutralized them, and I have to give Carter Mansfield a heads up, a good attaboy, thank you, because I read his article and he told me, I guess, what I was thinking about, we neutralize those DBs when we keep it on the ground. Yep. And my head coach used to always say there's three things that happen when you throw the ball in the air, and two of them are bad. So,
Carter Mansfield, Warren County Sports Authority.
That's what former Pioneer Squad 51 team member right there, son, doing some good things.
Well, Jeff, who's going to be our player of the week?
This is a tough one, Coach. To be honest, it could have been the entire offensive line, but we're going to give it the guy that got into the end zone 5 times, C.J. Taylor, 309 yards, ends up pushing to second all-time in touchdowns.
Awesome.
In Warren County history. I mean, of course, he's chasing Jeff Walmick.
And you may not get that one.
At this point, I think every rushing stat that you ever come up with for Warren County, it's basically, are you second because Jeff Walmick's never going to get touched. I mean,
right.
6,450 yards and 65 touchdowns may never happen again. It's not probably going to. But C.J. Taylor, 5 touchdowns, 309 yards, just a phenomenal effort. And I think you saw what Blackman's coach said after the game.
Yeah.
And you know what it didn't take more than a couple of carries for you just to realize C.J. wasn't going to lose.
No.
He was just not going to let you lose that game, and he was running hard from the very first carry of that game.
Yeah, that's what I love about CJ and his competitiveness. Whether it's playing ping pong or playing football against Blackman, and that was some goals that he and I and the coaching staff, and I know he had some personal goals and some personal, and that's what I love about that young man. And he ran possessed, because I think he actually, after a couple of them long runs, he was throwing up on the sideline just because probably of just running for his life. But I felt like he ran those guys into submission, and Coach Hartfield actually let me know the only thing was stopping C.J. Taylor that Friday night was his oxygen level. So, but yeah, hats off to C.J. Taylor for, leading.
Yeah, Coach Hartsfield called him the alpha male.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was definitely the alpha male. And the thing is, and what I love seeing about CJ, because I saw the post interviews, and we did one with him there on the Sports Authority, and CJ knows that he's not doing this without that offensive line. He's not doing this with Grayson, without Ryland, and even the threat of those receivers out there. But yeah, it's a thing of beauty to watch.
First thing he did when the game was over, went over and helped up that receiver.
It was funny. I know that Army offered him last week. And Army, that's very prestigious. That's another level of. That's not just collegiate football. That's another level of prestige. And they called me and was doing a character survey, almost like the NFL style. It's wild. And talking about, asking all these questions just like they do in the NFL. And I made sure that I sent that exact video to the recruiting coach that was questioning me about his character. And, I didn't see that in person, but, it was awesome to see that, at the end of the game and see that. So
good young man playing really good football.
Yep.
So congratulations, C.J. Taylor, the Security Federal Player of the Week. Well, we've got Siegel coming up. Go back to the Borough and go to the other side of town. Last year's game went down to the wire. What memories do you have of getting that big win a year ago?
Well, I can tell you this. I can remember being down. How far was we down, Mr. Simmons, going into the fourth?
I think we're down 13 going in the fourth.
Yeah.
We're down 2 scores.
Yeah, down 2 scores going in. And then the thing is, I think we actually took the lead, and then we gave up one.
Right.
Gave up a little boo-boo there in the middle, pass over the middle. We didn't cover, and so I don't remember what the yardage was. And then I remember seeing Stephen Curtis go out there and kick the game-winning point, I do believe, if I recall correctly. Yep. And that young man did not realize what pressure was on it. He said, what's the deal? I'm going to go out there and kick this extra point. And why is everybody so excited? But yeah, it was a very fun game, There was a lot of fun games last year, especially after the Rockville, and then you double down with Siegel. But yeah, very exciting, and I feel like, hopefully it's not going to come down to anything like that. I don't know if I can handle that or Autumn can handle that either. But yeah, exciting.
That was a wild finish in that game. I mean, you said it. The busted coverage is the only thing.
Yeah, that's all it was.
They split the defense, throw a 68-yard touchdown pass, and then all of a sudden, if I'm not mistaken, I think Warren County gets a personal foul on a kick into the end zone, so they have to start on the 10-yard line, down 6.
Yep.
And I think 2 of the things that I remember the most about that game is, like you said, Tony Curtis. After the game, I asked him, I said, what'd you think on that PAT? And he just said, just another kick. But it was the other thing that I asked CJ about going onto the field and having to lead your team on there. And he said, I looked at Douglas Wells, his center, and Douglas said, we're going to do this. We can do this. And they just marched straight down the field. And of course, yep. I mean, at that point, LeCedric Cox caught a big pass right off the bat on a perfectly thrown pass by CJ. And then it was just off to the races, and you pick up another 1-point win at Nutley Stadium. It was just it was part of a magical year at Nutley last year.
It was.
But that was a great game, and there was a lot of different things. But like you said, was maybe not make it go down to the end.
Yeah, no, I'm no.
Coach, Warren County comes in 5-0. Siegel's 0-5. Something's happened at Siegel over the last couple of years. What a difference a few years can make.
Yeah, I remember when Siegel first came out, and Siegel was the new Rockville. I remember back in those days, even under Coach Maywood, we'd go down there, and I mean, they had that. I remember a big D tackle that they had that signed D1 ball, big time player. We'd go down there, and that was when we had the Paz boys and different things like that. I mean, it was a slobber knocker for a summer scrimmage, fall scrimmage. Of course, we wasn't in that same region. It's probably a good thing. Because Siegel, I don't know if it was the new school or whatnot, so all the new athletes went over there. Everything was new, but and I remember they was very, very dominant, and and I don't know.
They're trying to replace Tucker Sears, their quarterback, and he gave us fits for years.
Yep.
I mean, he was the one that threw that touchdown pass last year, and they're trying to figure it out. I think even last week when they lost to Coffee County, they had another quarterback that they're going through. So the thing about it is, though, is it's still Siegel. It's still a Murfreesboro school.
Yeah, you cannot overlook that one bit.
It's something that me and you have talked about a lot, even before that Blackman game, was no matter what the outcome was against Blackman, you win against Blackman, you lose against Blackman, it could not affect you past 10:30 on Friday night of that game, because you had to come into this game with blinders on. I mean, you say it every week. What is it you tell your team?
We're 0-0. 0-0.
And this
week 1
is the same way against this game. You can't be 0 look at the 0-5. You can't be looking at the 5-0 and thinking, let's just chalk this one up and get ready for Cookeville. Siegel is going to look at this game and say, we can beat Warren County.
Yep.
It's just Warren County. If we're going to get off the schneid, this is who we're going to get against.
Yep.
And they're going to come out there and play. I mean, you saw it against Rockville.
Yep.
I mean, they gave you everything you wanted for 48 minutes, and it was a 48-minute game. There's nothing to say that this one won't be again.
So it's Warren County at Siegel this coming Friday night. Get you a ticket if you can. We had a great crowd at Blackman, even with the COVID restrictions restricting the attendance. Sounded like a capacity crowd over there.
Yeah,
so they were great.
Yep. Yeah, and the same thing. Go Fan. Siegel's doing the Go Fan. So I mean, obviously everybody should be kind of a little familiar with that. But we can do the Go Fan and search Siegel or search Warren County. Like I said, I still haven't figured out how they know if it's a Warren County ticket buyer or a Siegel ticket buyer. But I know Warren County's supposed to got restrictions. Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure if you want in, they're not going to turn you away.
Pioneer Nation's going to show up.
But of course, we'll also have it on the radio, 92.1 The Ticket.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, we're online, 1230waki.com. You can hear it. You can listen to it on your phone if you want to.
Yeah.
Also, Warren County Sports Authority website.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to come to us, we're going to have Ansley Mulliken there on the sideline. Easton Adcock's going to be down there on the sideline with us. You can go to our Facebook Live, and you can also follow our tweets during the game at @the_WCSA. We're going to have plenty of people there. We're going to keep covering this team. I mean, it's been a wild ride, and we're just happy to be jumping on.
We're just halfway there,
Absolutely.
baby.
Yeah.
We're just halfway there.
All right, so Warren County at Siegel, 7 o'clock Friday night. We hope to see you there. I want to thank our sponsor, Security Federal Savings Bank. I want to thank Mud Bums for having us out here this evening. For Coach Matt Turner and the Warren County Sports Authority, Jeff Simmons, I'm Jay Walker. We'll see you next time on Turner Time.
Go Pioneers.